You finally get the call, a great job title, a noticeable bump in salary, and an offer letter sitting right in your inbox. But there's a catch. The office is across town, and that means adding an hour to your daily drive. It's easy to look at the gross salary and immediately accept, but treating your travel time as a minor detail ignores one of the biggest threats to your daily baseline happiness. This graph tracks satisfaction against commute time. Adding 20 minutes to your drive degrades satisfaction by the exact amount of a 19% pay cut. You lose valuable free time. Traffic drains your mental energy before the office, preventing you from unwinding later. A higher salary looks great on paper, but if you have to spend an extra 10 hours a week behind the wheel to get it, the extra money won't offset the daily frustration. We need to stop looking at travel time as a minor inconvenience and start treating it as a financial penalty. Think of it as a commute tax. This scale measures your salary bump against direct commuting costs. Every day, subtract fuel, parking, tolls, and vehicle wear. Then add the unpaid hours locked in traffic. Converting lost personal time into a financial value makes the penalty much heavier. If you compare a high-paying role with an hour-long commute against a slightly lower-paying job that's only 10 minutes from your house, the true financial value often flips. The local job actually leaves you with more money and more free time at the end of the month. To figure out what you are actually earning per hour, you have to treat the commute as a strict mathematical deduction from your paycheck. You might spend an entire evening scrolling through job boards, bookmarking perfect roles, only to map the address the next morning and realize the drive is impossible. The problem starts with how major platforms filter location. This map shows what happens when you type in a general city name. The platform drops a massive 30-mile circle that overlaps with highly congested traffic zones. Because of this default setting, you end up wasting hours tailoring resumes for companies you'd never actually want to drive to 5 days a week. You have to force the platform to filter geospatially. Instead of typing the city, use your specific zip code, or type your job title plus near me into Google Jobs. This will shrink the number of jobs you see, but the ones that remain will be highly relevant and actually fit your daily routine. Taking control of your search radius up front guarantees that a bad commute won't ruin a great job offer later in the interview process. When you do get an offer, you need an objective way to evaluate it before you sign anything. This scorecard breaks down the true cost formula. First, we calculate the direct monthly costs by adding up daily fuel, parking, tolls, and vehicle depreciation, then multiplying by your working days. Next, we calculate the time cost. You take your hourly wage and multiply it by the total number of hours you will spend traveling that month. Combine those two numbers. That total is the exact monthly commute tax hidden inside the job offer. Let's say a company offers $80,000 a year, but commuting costs you $12,000 and 30 hours of your time each month. Mathematically, a $72,000 job located 10 minutes away puts more actual value in your pocket. Running these numbers strips away the illusion of a big salary and shows you exactly what you are taking home. This tax doesn't hit everyone the same way.
The type of work you do completely changes how much commute distance you can safely tolerate. If you work in healthcare, retail, or customer support, your schedule is largely fixed. You have strict start and end times that don't change. For these roles, you need to prioritize living close by. Every traffic jam or bad weather delay directly threatens your punctuality and job security. This chart maps out schedule rigidity against days required in the office. A shift worker is in the high danger zone for long commutes. But if you are a software engineer or a designer with an asynchronous, flexible schedule, your tolerance for distance increases significantly. Your willingness to accept a longer drive should depend entirely on how strictly your employer controls your daily clock. There are, however, specific situations where taking on a long, heavy commute is actually the smartest financial decision you can make. The first is hybrid leverage. This calendar shows a typical 5-day work week with a standard tight commute radius. If a role only requires you to be in the office 1 or 2 days a week, your total monthly travel time plummets. Because you make the trip less often, you can safely expand your search net to target higher-paying roles without the risk of daily burnout. The second exception is a major career leap. A grueling commute is justified if the role positions you for rapid promotion or exclusive professional networks. You should only accept that heavy travel burden if extreme schedule flexibility or a massive step up the ladder clearly outweighs the hours you lose. When you map your distance to the office, you aren't the only one paying attention. Recruiters are analyzing your location too. Hiring managers view candidates who live nearby as low-risk investments. They know a local worker is far less likely to quit 6 months down the line because of travel fatigue. If you live close to the company, bring it up early in the process. It gives you a clear edge over an equally skilled candidate who has to drive an hour to get there. But what happens when the offer is fantastic and the commute is just slightly too long to comfortably accept? This is where you use the true cost formula to negotiate. Instead of complaining about the drive, you present the math. You show them exactly what the travel costs you in dollars and hours. If they cannot increase the base salary to cover that cost, you pivot. Ask for a monthly commuter stipend, paid transit passes, or request an extra work-from-home day each week to balance the equation. Presenting a factual, math-based case proves you understand your market value, which forces the employer to take your work-life balance seriously. You can process these variables into a simple decision framework for your next job offer. This matrix maps out your options. If you are a shift worker or someone who demands strict work-life balance, ask if the commute is under 30 minutes. If the answer is no, you decline the offer. If you are looking to maximize income, check if the offered pay bump is higher than your true cost number. If it isn't, the job doesn't actually pay more. Finally, if the job is hybrid, you evaluate whether the work-from-home days reduce the travel enough to comfortably accept, or if you need to negotiate for more flexibility. When you measure the exact cost of your daily drive, you stop letting the commute quietly drain your time and money, and start using it as a strict, calculated variable to build a better career.